Welcome back to the homestead, guys. Today we are going to show you one of our favorite ways to eat the weeds, which is dandelion jelly. It's super popular and for good reason. It tastes like sunshine in a jar. It's very easy to make and can up, and we're going to show you how to do that today. Dandelion in itself is just a wonderful plant to eat and use as medicine, but for this we are going to be using the flowers, so just the top parts. So I went ahead and gathered up a good bunch of these dandelions, and I'm going to use about 2 cups of tightly packed petals or 4 cups of loosely packed petals, and it all starts with an infusion or a tea made from that. So I'm going to go ahead, take all these beautiful buds back into the cabin, and then start getting rid of this green part because those are bitter. You want to get as much of these yellow leaves as you can. Okay, so first step with this is you just take all the beautiful yellow petals and put it in a quart mason jar, as much as you have. Don't worry if you don't have quite 2 cups. All you're going to do is throw some boiling water over it and let it steep and make a really strong dandelion tea, basically, and that's going to be the base for your jelly. So I'm going to go ahead, go through these and get them all kind of sorted. Got my tea heating there, and I'll throw that on top and let this steep maybe a couple hours. Some people let it go overnight. If you don't have that much time, that's fine. You just want to get a good infusion and get some of that flavor and color out.
It's really raining out.
Yeah, isn't it? Okay, so we are going to save some of these dandelions for dinner. We are going to fry them up. We're going to make what Dennis and I call poor man's fried clams. We're both from New England, and they taste very similar to fried clams when you fry dandelion blooms. So we're going to make those with our salmon tonight for dinner, but this is just about good. Don't worry if you get some of the green in, no big deal. We really like just dandelion in general. We eat the greens a lot because the greens are really rich in vitamins and minerals, omega-3 fatty acids. They're wonderful to eat, really popular in soups and omelets and steamed and sauteed. The roots are most popular as medicine. Dandelion is supreme liver tonic, so it's most famous for that. We also like to dig the roots in the fall and make a mineral-rich vinegar, which we'll show you guys how to do on the channel. You can also poultice those roots to put on bumps and lumps and cysts of the lymphatic system. Another thing we do like to make is a massage oil with the petals, these yellow petals, for your lymphatic system. Okay, I'm gonna leave that for maybe an hour before I strain it out. Somebody on the channel had commented and asked to see how we prep the jars before canning. So I'll show you guys that. If you are processing for more than 10 minutes, you need not sterilize them. I'm going to be processing these for about 12 minutes at my elevation in the water bath canner. So I need not sterilize those jars. So all I'm gonna do is take some hot soapy water and wash them out really good. Lids and rings and everything. So before I get going on these jars, I'm going to start steeping a massage oil for the lymphatic system. I'm going to do some of these dandelion petals. Might throw some wild violet in there if we find it down the road. Maybe a little lavender and some of those rose petals. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna leave the top off this for a little bit before I cap it. Now we're gonna wash our jars, and then while this infuses, we are going to make dinner. Poor man's fried clams are easy. I just do an egg batter. I'll take an egg, little water, mix it up, and then dredge them in flour. Fry them in some tallow. Okay. Eat the leaves. While we were foraging for these, we saw a fresh grizzly bear scout right near the cabin. We haven't been having one hang around, so we're all on the lookout for him. There's been a lot of fish, so we've been smoking and drying salmon, and you know, it just smells fishy even after you clean out the coolers. Like, there's still a little smell, so they're coming around. Hey, these are getting to the point where they're done. We're also gonna do a little king salmon for dinner. Maybe dill and lemon on this. Try one?
It's a fried clam like at Grandpa's.
Is it really?
She knows you're pulling her leg.
What do you think?
Yum!
You want another one?
Okay, I went ahead and added some rose petals to this massage oil. I'll also probably throw in some wild violet and maybe some lavender. Really good for your lymphatic system and really beautiful. That will sit for maybe, if you just want to solar infuse it or do the old folk method, which is basically just keeping it infused with everything in the oil in the jar, maybe like 4 to 6 weeks, but I will probably throw that in a double boiler once I get those wild violets and heat it slightly and then strain it. So we are going to be taking another camping trip to do a little more fishing, and Lena loves marshmallows, so I'm going to try to make her a homemade wild rose marshmallow with just some gelatin, water, and honey. So I'm going to start by infusing about a cup or so of water and rose petals and then letting it cool. And I'll use that for my base. I'm going to see how it turns out. So this marshmallow recipe for the whole batch, it makes like a brownie pan full of marshmallows, is only about 1 cup of water. Wonderful. That really does remind me of fried clams. Really good. So good. We have to do a canning day where we can a lot of this, make some room in the freezers. Really good.
We should do this again before dandelions run out.
Before they're gone, some of them are seeding already.
These are really good. They really do taste similar to fried clams. They have the same texture, but they're not, fishy. I was skeptical about them when Amy first made them, but now they're one of my favorite things every spring.
Yeah, every spring.
I'd highly recommend this.
Yeah. Okay, this looks beautiful. So this canning recipe is not a tested canning recipe. This is technically Rebel canning. So if you are worried about that, you can always throw this in the freezer and make like a freezer jelly. So you could skip this step with the processing and just pop this straight in the freezer. I am using my pressure canner, but that's just because that is the only pot I have that rack fits in. So I have a rack in the bottom, but I am going to be water bath canning this. So when you water bath can, you are just literally boiling the jars in boiling water. The one thing you want to make sure of is that that water comes up a good 2 inches above the tops of the jars. But you can use any old stock pot, anything you'd like. I'm just using this because my rack fits in the bottom of it. But first thing, I'm going to strain this out very well, and I want to have about 4 cups of liquid after I strain it. So if you need to add a little water to this, which I might do, that's fine. We're gonna strain this out and put it in our sauce pot. So I got about 3 cups of water in here. I'm gonna add another cup on top after I put this in. Very dandelion-like smell to it. And then in a separate bowl, I'm gonna take some pectin, a whole packet of pectin, and then mix that with a cup of honey. So this does not have any refined sugar in it. It's a smaller batch. I'm gonna make about maybe 4 or so half pints. We do the majority of our preserves berries, so we really focus our time and our money and our mason jars on berries. I'm gonna take a good cup of this honey, and I'm just gonna whip it really good with the pectin. To my dandelion tea, I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and then bring this to a full boil. So we are gonna go ahead and let this lemon juice and dandelion tea get up to a full rolling boil, and then I'm gonna throw my pectin and honey mixture in here, get it back up to a boil for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then I will fill my canning jars up to 1/4 inch headspace, check for air bubbles, wipe the rims, and throw them in my canner to process. Okay, we are at a full rolling boil. I'm gonna throw this in here too. Another thing we like to do with dandelion buds actually is to pickle them, so they're almost like wild capers. Really good. We have not had a chance to do that yet this year. So while this is getting going, I'm gonna start gently heating this water here. One thing you wanna watch out for when you are putting your jars in the canner, that it is not super hot and the jars aren't super cold, because that will shatter the jars. So always kind of be mindful of the temperature of your water and the temperature of your jars. When you are filling your canning jars, the headspace is important. So with most jams and jellies, it's gonna be a 1/4 inch headspace, which is the tippy top line there. Smells good. The next step to your canning is going to be to wipe the rims clean. You want to make sure that there is no liquid or oil or anything funky to interfere with the seal. So I like to go around and just check everyone. You're going to take your lid. You always need new lids. You cannot reuse these to can with multiple times. So just get yourself some new lids. If you already have jars, you don't need to rebuy the jars. You can reuse the jars as many times as you'd like, as long as there's no nicks or anything on them. Okay, these are ready to go in the canner. These go for 10 minutes, and I'm gonna add a minute for every 1,000 feet above elevation. So we're at about 2,200 feet in elevation, so I'm gonna add 2 minutes just to be safe. And again, I did not sterilize these jars, but I'm going to process them for longer than 10 minutes, so that is a-okay. And wait till that gets to a full rolling boil. So I'll check on that in a few minutes, see how it's doing, and then I will start my processing time. Jellies are pretty fun to experiment with, so if you want to do it with like rose petals, fireweed's a good one, spruce tips, you just kind of start with that infusion and then put your pectin and your sugar and your lemon in there. But again, if you want to make sure that you're using a tested recipe, there's plenty online. If you don't want to use a tested recipe like this one, you could throw it in the freezer. So I'm gonna let this go for a little bit and then we'll check in on it. Okay, these marshmallows are very, very easy. I am just going to grease my brownie tin with a little bit of coconut oil. You could line it with parchment too to make it easier to take out. And then I'm gonna take a 1/2 cup of cold water and put it in a small saucepan. And 4 packets of gelatin, and I'm just gonna sprinkle it on top. I'm not gonna mix it in. And then my rose water, I'm gonna take 1/2 cup out of there, strain it out. Then I'm just gonna toss my rose water in a little sauce pot. Add a half a cup of honey in there with it. And then I'm gonna bring it up to 240 degrees. Okay, that's just about at 240. I'm gonna shut it off and then whip it up on high for about 7-ish minutes with that gelatin and water. I'm just gonna scoop it out, put it into my pan, and let these set. I like to throw them in the cooler. You put them in the freezer, but they should set at room temperature too. Oh, it's perfect. Okay, I'm gonna pop these in the cooler, and then I think our jars are almost boiling, so we'll check on those too. Okay, it has been 12 minutes. I'm gonna shut that off. Always be kind of careful when you take your lid off your canner, because the steam is hot. Okay, these look beautiful. It is pretty late, so we are going to try these tomorrow morning on some sourdough. Okie dokie, we are ready to cut into these rose and honey marshmallows. I know Lena is so excited. Cool.
They taste like roses.
Very like nice texture. I wonder if this would roast. I bet you this would roast.
Are they really light? It's not as sugary as like a regular store-bought marshmallow, but it's good.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to taste our dandelion jelly. I made some sourdough hamburger buns for Dennis for his birthday. I'm gonna put them on that.
Ooh, they look good.
We really like this on like a peanut butter and jelly. It almost tastes like honey.
It's very flowery.
All right, that is it. That is how we like to make dandelion jelly. It is Dennis's birthday, so I'm gonna get started on a birthday cake for him, and we will see you guys next week.